cars, guns, drugs. What do all three of these topics have in common? I'll answer my question for me. They are pillars of the Lego brand. Lego's been around for a minute, and with that passage of time, they've made a few oopsies, a few uh-ohs, a few, oh boy, probably should have done that. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But not everybody tries to hide the fact that they suck. Lego, what are you doing? You can't just sweep that under the rug. Come along with me as we delve into the world of hidden hypocrisies that Lego doesn't want you to know. There are a number of videos and articles out there discussing what themes and controversial topics Lego has knocked on the front door of, but they all regurgitate the same crap over and over. And while some of that stuff is interesting, yeah, Shell's an oil company. Yes, Java's Palace is a little bit reminiscent of some mosques. And that sticker's catcalling, woo! That must be some fine piece of plastic. This one's a little bit harder to brush off. We get it. Lego had some Indiana Jones sets, and there were some there, and they also had that little sponsored. Let me let you in on a little secret. Did you know Lego had smoking paraphernalia? Look at all this accoutrement bullcrap. The matches. There's some light. There are a lot of lighters. That doesn't look like a Duplo Tupperware tray. For those that peruse Bricklink when they should be doing something far more productive with their time, you might have come across this before. There's a little smoking category. Well, I mean, there was a category with smoking supplies. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of Lego purchasing the website Bricklink, other than the fact that they have a control on the secondhand market now, was that they can do whatever they want with it. And they made that known early on. That's why when you look up the Osprey, it's nowhere on Bricklink, completely gone. They just yanked it away. Oh, you know, the Osprey, that Technic helicopter that was released for like 5 seconds somewhere and then pulled from store shelves for some reason before it went worldwide. You know, the Lego Osprey, the one Lego thought was fine with the brand values until the very, very last minute. After years of looking at the same thing through designs and contracts. But I'm sure this little German protest rally, they're the reason, I'm sure. And the next target I found on the hit list was, well, cigarette stuff, which kinda sucks. I get it, Lego doesn't want a spotlight shown on their less than ideal things when it doesn't align with their brand values. I probably wouldn't say something being buried under over 70,000, if not more, individual unique listings on Bricklink would be a spotlight. If Lego's just gonna yank out the rug underneath their own history, maybe we should find a few more things that might not line up with their brand values and keep them alive. What are their brand values, you ask? Well, I'm glad you... Behold! Lego's brand values. And mission statement. This is the Lego brand framework, publicly available on their website, I might add. This is the thing that they preach to all of their employees like the gospel. From highest of CEOs to lowliest of brick specialists, pretending like they're stalking the back room, but in all reality, they're playing virtual grab-ass on Tinder, pretending like they have game. But we all know their game is going to the store, looking at a piece of box art, and then going home and jerking off to it. Looking at this cube of what is and is not good for the company is pretty interesting, wouldn't you say? Yeah, pull out that blinky and let's inspire some builders of tomorrow. Creativity? Why do you need to be creative when we have drugs? Just shoot up some of this and you'll be set. These are really real drugs. Dealers made them in the form of Lego bricks to avoid detection. It got so bad the local cops had news stations warn people not to trust weird looking Lego things. Oh, I'm learning a lot. Like two different cultures can never come together with a peaceful resolution but must always tear each other apart. Sure you want all the children as a role model? Like, really? Are you sure? Really? With this list Lego so generously bestowed upon us, we can now figure out not only what the best is, but why it's good enough. I want to ease us in starting off, just go a little bit light. There are a few topics on here that could be considered taboo, and I don't want to... Lego tried to kill your dog. In the not so distant past, Lego released a Friends magazine over in Europe, and while most of their magazines are harmless enough, this one had a recipe that asked for raisins for a dog treat. Not all of you might know this, dogs are very allergic to raisins, so much so they can die. Lego's official statement? We didn't make this. It's actually there's another company that rates these magazines. We just make the bricks and let them use our logo to slap on the side of the magazine to promote it and go into the stores. It's not our fault your dog died. Now, ladies, I don't want to offend, but you might want to step away because this next one, it's for the boys. Probably seen the class act that is Java's Girls, but have you seen the inspiration from which they came? Oh, that's... Ha! No. The one a little to the right. No, now that. That's hot. You might recognize this fellow. Maybe not. All you need to know is he's a Lego designer of the Star Wars variety, and he knows just how you like it designed. Why are we looking at the woman? Go back to Watto. At the beginning I said, drugs. Out of the 3 words I gave, that's probably the hardest one for people to immediately think of an example of. But, fittingly, it's been right under your nose this whole time. The year, I don't really care, but the theme was Chima, or better known as Tremendous Waste of My Time, aka Lego's furry theme, aka a pretty cool concept that flopped and now Ninjago kids make fun of it all the time. Because if you're gonna pick on someone, pick on the weak that can't fight back. In this fictional universe, there's a substance that these tribes of animals are competing and killing and coveting every last morsel just because a little bit will increase their prowess tenfold. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but chi kind of sounds like crack, and instead of anthropomorphic animals fighting over it, they're just people addicted to drugs fighting over it. And it's not fictional, but it's happening outside my window. Now remember kids, if you don't want to grow up to be like these people, you might want to stay away from the sniffy dust. I would like to make it clear that I am not an advocate for gun control. However, when Lego likes to boast about how they don't fantasize war and aggression, and then shows this assortment, this mighty melody of just different ways to kill a man, something's not connecting here. I am nowhere near an expert in weaponry and firearms. I understand the fundamentals, but I don't think, with my limited understanding, that you need this to put a man down. I have no qualm with children playing with toy weapons. I have no issue whatsoever. But you can't say on one hand that it's not okay, and then on the other hand, do a lot of both in real world. We see what you did there. It's a square gun, but it's still a gun. Oh, but it's historical. Just because it's ancient combat does not make it any less combative. And that is not that ancient. It's a really, really bad mold for what seems to be a pistol, but that's a modern day spy shooting someone. But Star Wars is sci-fi, and it's not that real? But it's still depictions of people being shot, burned, stabbed, sliced, and killed. But the cops, they don't have weapons, they just have handcuffs. And that's why everyone in Lego City is a crook. With Lego's family-friendly values trying to hide so many skeletons in the closet, it's only a matter of time before it's all wiped off the face of the internet. In a lot of ways, it's up to us to preserve the history of not only Lego, but everything around us. Fortunately, with the advent of technology, it's much easier to do that. However, if we have companies like Lego trying to hide the less than stellar ways of the past, it might be gone forever. So if you do know of anything that's less than ideal, some dirty little secrets Lego's hiding around the corner, feel free to share down below. Or not. This video was just an excuse for me to show you a Lego night jerking off.